Grant and Trista Dixon are amongst the biggest names in Australasian harness racing. In this episode of One on One, we get a chance to sit down with them at their Tambourine base, where Grant has trained over 3,000 winners. We also get an insight into this wonderful horse, the horse they call Larry, Leap to Fame. Have a chat to both of them about what it means to the family and to have a horse of this calibre, and whether they can get to this place, Addington Raceway, on the second Tuesday in November and win our greatest race. Tell me about the property here, Grant, at Tambourine. How many acres, and talk to me about the setup that your father has left you and what appears to be horse heaven in many ways.
Yeah, it was quite probably getting towards 20 years ago. I bought the place, and then Dad had sold his place, and Dad was sort of pretty much semi-retired, so he kindly, with a band of friends, sort of come out here early while we were still operating out of his place, and he started setting the place up for me. And a lot of it was, the big shed was, designed to keep yourself out of the weather and make a good place to work out of. And yeah, he put a lot of time and effort into it. It was amazing what he did, and obviously to be able to afford to do it, you couldn't have paid people their proper money to do what he managed to achieve for us. We've just managed to keep trying to do little improvements. It's not a show place, but it's sort of really work friendly, sort of to be able to work a high number of horses and get through them.
Yeah, how big's the track, and then you're going to tell me how many horses are worked here, because there seems to be a fair few around.
Yeah, we're always working probably around 70, and then we've got a few people that come in and just train on the track as well. Just next door, Darren McCall's there, and Jane Hutchison comes. So there's a few people that drop in and work a few here and there. We just let them use the track just to probably just help them out a bit. And the place is 62 acres, and the track's 890, and we've got an 800 metre jog track on the inside.
It's a bit undulating. Tell me a little bit about that and how you utilise that to train the horses.
Yeah, it has got a rise in it. Exactly how high it's not too much. It might be a metre and a bit. So, but you can feel it when you're sort of running up the back straight and coming down the home straight. So, I think that all helps just to strengthen them up a bit.
Tell me a bit more about your dad, his 60 years in the sport, and some of the things he achieved and what he passed on to you as a horseman.
Yeah, Dad sort of always used to try and keep things pretty basic, and he was a particularly good farrier. He was good, very good at probably rigging up the 2-year-olds, getting their gear right, and probably back in the day the horses weren't as good gated, and that he was particularly good at probably even getting an old horse that wasn't pacing right and getting them back pacing right through, whether it be through shoeing or just with their gear and stuff. Now that was, and his work ethic was probably second to none. He'd just keep working all day. He'd always be up early and just keep chipping away all day. He wasn't one to stop and have a spell. So
I was reading he drove 9 winners in a day one day. I think it was 4 at Charles Towers.
Charles Towers, yeah.
And 5 at Townsville, which I think's still a record.
Yeah, I think he still either might share the record with someone, but it's stood for a long time. And he often drove, like he always said, he never drove the card in Townsville, but he often drove 6 out of 7 on numerous times, And he did win the driver's title in a straight dead-header with Jimmy O'Sullivan, which was probably a mighty effort to do it up in Townsville with they don't have a lot of meetings up there, so he'd done a mighty job to be able to do that. So he was and just things now, I still might do things and you remember what he sort of advised you to do and different things, and it's still, and even sometimes to say he'd say stuff and you didn't really pick up
at the time
what he was meaning, but sort of actually in time you come across and you think, oh, that's why he's actually saying.
Premiership wins 2008, 9, 10 and 11. So when he was about to retire, he was almost at his best, and obviously he had you alongside him. When did he sort of give the driving away, and was that more to give you the opportunity?
Yeah, he started having a lot of trouble with his hands, a lot of bad arthritis. So but he was sort of more than happy to. He got me started and sort of just kept going for as long as he could to sort of for me till I sort of got going reasonable, and then he, just cut back.
Standout horses that you recall for him? I think you won a New South Wales Derby with a horse called Jeremy Lee.
Yeah, he was probably Dad's best horse. Probably Speed Ace. They were probably the main two that probably stood out for him.
2,833 winners. He left a decent legacy, but you've whopped straight past that. But when you're training the numbers as you and Trista are, it becomes a numbers game in many ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's the only way you find your next, best horses and stuff. But like obviously, I had a great grounding. The place set up, ready to go, and then to obviously take over a big team to keep the ball rolling. Really.
Owners, you've got some big ones, and you've had some that have been with you for a very long time. Without them, you wouldn't be in the position you are.
No, obviously, like we've got Kevin and Kay that have been with us for probably over 15 years now, and Greg and Sharon Mitchell, who, have been great supporters as well. And then Dr. John Mamino, and there's still a lot of other guys too that sort of, they sort of might come and go with their couple of horses, but we've had guy Tony Vink that Dad trained for a long time. He hasn't got one here at the moment, but like he's bred one that'll be on its way when it gets here. So a lot of people that have sort of stuck with us for a long period of time.
What about some of those star performers? The first of those really, Majestic Mac.
Yeah, he was probably he was probably one end like a superstar to us, but then we were just sort of disappointed that for one reason or another, we lost him somewhere, and just never got him back to what we thought he would have been.
His 2- and 3-year-old record was mind-blowing, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, it was amazing, and disappointing that he probably didn't go on to do what we thought he could have.
Yeah, Lenny the Shark, he was in that year. He won himself a Queensland Derby, and then along came Colt 31, who became a bit of a cult hero. 51 wins, remarkable.
Yeah, Chester was just a great horse for us, and his longevity was amazing, really. Like he raced from 2 and all the way through, and he just sort of kept fronting up for us, and was super proud of old Chest.
And did he not get you the milestone win, the 5,000th win, and that was his 51st and last win? I mean, the racing gods came together then, surely.
Yeah, it was amazing that night, because he probably wasn't in the peak of his powers. And he just managed that night sort of lift himself off the canvas and get over the line. It was a really great moment for him.
Black Sedans was winding up. He went rough. He's off stride. Mac Da Vinci in front. Colt 31 lifting. Is this the moment? Colt 31. Yes, it is. 5,000 victories. Grant Dixon, and he does it with Colt 31. We salute you, Grant Dixon.
Fame Assured did an amazing job for your winner of 24. Tim's a trooper, just picked the wrong year to come along because old Larry was sort of running around about the same time.
Yeah, he's a good little boy, Trumpy. He'll be back soon enough, and he's had a good spell, and hopefully he can come back and get the job, get rolling again.
As this leap to fame juggernaut rolls on, have you had time, you and Trista, to enjoy the ride? I know there's been a lot of pressure that comes with it, but when you've been in the game as long as you have and you've finally got the horse that you both wanted, do you get to enjoy it, particularly with the boys?
It's better with having the kids come to the photos, and that it makes it a bit more special. It'd probably be years to come will probably reflect a bit more. It's a little intense, probably at the moment, just to the pressure that runs with it, just to try and keep him up to the mark and hopefully spot on. But obviously. You wait a lifetime for these horses, and he turns up. I was sort of to the point where I thought I'm never going to win a lot of these good races, and next minute he's got it and won them all for me.
Is the one thus far that stands out? Is the one race that you thought, we've done it?
Probably the Inter, but the Miracle Mile was probably hot on the heels. Mainly because Trista's, all her family was there for her, and that, so that sort of made that night that bit better too, and probably the fact that he wasn't probably expected, still obviously a great chance, but probably the history was saying that he couldn't do it, and that's probably yeah, made it pretty special.
Ferocious into the clear from Spirit of St. Louis. Leap to Fame needs to fight. He leads again. Leap to Fame. This could be a historic victory. This standard bred superstar. What a winner. Too good. Leap to Fame. He was just about down and out when Sooner the Better got on terms, but he has fought back and a historic win in the big one.
You've had good success with Kiwi horses, ex-Kiwi horses. One that stands out, it's got an unbelievable record, was out over and over.
Yeah, he was an amazing horse for us. He just went about his business. You didn't realise how good he was, but as he just kept working through the grades, he just kept winning, like he just win by a metre. But then, as the years went on, that's all he ever won by. And yeah, probably it took me a good while to realise that he knew what he was doing. That you just had to sit there, and he was keeping an eye out on him. And yeah, he just done an amazing job. And we had him from early 3 all the way to 11. And then you'd often get there on a Saturday night, and you'd be kicking stones around, but you think, oh, still to drive. And yeah, so often he just come through for us.
Well, I think he had a couple of hundred starts, but he won over 60 of them and was placed like second 45 times. That's nothing short of remarkable. He never won a big race, but he just won a whole lot of races.
Yeah, I think he won like our biggest trotting race up here a couple of times.
Right.
But obviously away in any other state. He was a little bit of a horse. He was easy to keep racing than he was to stop and travel, because he could seize up real bad in his muscles. So it was hard to actually travel him. And yeah, it was just that for him that way. It would have been nice for him to actually go away and sort of probably go as well as he could here.
Well, he might have got the recognition he deserved then, but he certainly didn't need that from you guys, because I know Trista just loved him.
Yeah, no, it was just a phenomenal horse for us.
What about a Rhoda? And he's come a long way, hasn't he? The half to a Cooter, who I'm sure you're well aware of, but his last few runs and the way Trista's driven him have been quite remarkable, both at Redcliffe and Albion Park.
Yeah, he's just been a good progressive horse for us, and we're just hoping that he can turn himself into a nice open horse, and just see where he gets to from there.
When you do come to New Zealand, I'll put it right on you here, will Larry come on his own, or is there potential for another horse like him to come?
Yeah, well, Greg and Sharon have mentioned that they wouldn't mind bringing him if we're going, just to see if he could get in there, because I don't think he'd be. I think it suits him, the 2 mile stand start, so I don't think he'd be out of place.
Back to the driving, and that club that you joined, headed up by that bloke Alford, who goes okay. I think he got past about 8,000 recently. Obviously Gavin Lang, the late Gavin Lang, someone you would have looked up to in your career. When you're talking about those sort of guys, that must seem like, when you were starting out, miles away.
Yeah, you sort of never think that you're going to sort of achieve anything like what they do. But they're just amazing drivers, and Chris, I don't know how he managed to keep such a high standard like all his life, and still he's turned the TV on a Sunday night and here he is driving at Cranbourne or wherever it may be, and I don't know how he finds the energy to keep going, but he does, and every time you see him step out, he's just putting his best foot forward.
Chris Lewis, the other one in that 5,000 club. What about for you in the future, and Trista and the boys? Are they showing any signs of wanting to be involved, or is it just too early for them?
Oh, look, Thomas and Jai are, probably more so Thomas. We'll just see how it all pans out. With kids, they can chop and change their mind pretty quick of what their interests are. But
they're doing kids, what do you call them? Pony?
Yeah, the pony trots. Yeah, they
do
them, and they seem to enjoy their night out with that. But sometimes it's a bit more of a social thing for them. But it's all good fun, and it's good to see them. I'd rather see them just involved with something they've got a bit of passion for.
We filmed this episode of One on One a couple of days out from the Blacks of Fake, the Group 1 signature race on the Constellations Carnival. A race last year Grant wanted to win, got a flat tyre at about the 300, and Swayze was able to pull away. But as you'll see now, he gets his redemption by beating Swayze and beating the rest into submission.
Straight quarter, 27-3. Leap to Fame gets away. Swayze is all out. He has no answers for his little brother. Leap to Fame into the home straight. Leap to Fame clear the margin 7 metres. Swayze is second and can't find a better man. Hector running on. Leap to Fame. Light up his name. Light it up. Leap to Fame. Leap to Fame brilliantly wins the Blacks of Fake. Downing Swayze, Hector can't find a better man.
Post this carnival, there's been a lot of chat about you coming to the IRT New Zealand Cup. Put it into words for me what it would mean for you to go to another country and win their feature race.
Oh, look, obviously I think New Zealand Cup's the pinnacle of harness racing, really. I think it's, harness racing's Melbourne Cup. Yeah, it'd just be great to go over and compete to start with, and if all being well, he's a live chance, it'll be amazing, I think.
You've given him an opportunity from a standing start, both at the trials and on race day, and to the eye, it appears that he's improving each and every time. He seems a pretty intelligent horse.
Yeah, he always wants to work with you. He seems to handle it well. So obviously we know we did want to give that extra one at Redcliffe just to, give him a bit more practice at it. But I'm sure he'll handle it, and yeah, hopefully all being well, we'll get there.
Grant, when you won the Miracle Mile, a race that you wanted to win and you had to sit parked and become the first horse to do that at Menangle, I think that proved to everyone that he is well-rounded now and he can handle everything, and he'll love the wide open spaces at Addington Raceway.
Yeah, I think he will. Yeah, like he likes Menangle, and he's just really pretty adaptable to his circumstances, really.
And with the travel, I know you haven't gone across the Tasman, obviously, but the travel interstate with the derbies and the like, he's got better at that?
Yeah, I think, he has, and then we've sort of learnt more about him as we've gone to, win the fly and like his prep run before we go and stuff. So I think, we've learnt with him, and he's learnt to cope with it better.
What would the plan be? Is it a hit and run mission? Is there a possibility that you'd come to some of the races, the lead up races? Have you thought that far ahead yet?
We haven't. We've mainly just got to obviously get past Saturday night, see how he is, and then get a bit of a mud map going forward. How we tackle things.
Tell me about Trista's involvement with the horse and how much of a part she plays, because she spends a lot of time with him.
Yeah, well, she'd spend more time with him on the ground than I do. She dotes on him, does basically everything with him, and like he's actually like really kind for her. Like he's sort of, if he was human, I'd think he's trying to cut me grass, I think, to tell you the truth. But yeah, he's amazing what how he is for her. Yeah, so he's lucky to have her looking after him, I feel.
This road you're on at the moment with Leap to Fame, post that, how long can you keep up at this speed? Because it's a busy lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is hard. Like with the kids now, you've got to sort of, think to yourself, you've got to keep making time for the kids and spend time with them, because next minute they'll be old and out the door and you've missed everything. So you've got to try and get a bit of a happy balance there, that's for sure.
Trista, for the benefit of the viewers back in New Zealand, we better get a bit of background on how you got involved in harness racing, and I understand it was a bit of a legend of the sport where you started off.
Yeah, that's right. So I grew up in a little town called Albion Park down in New South Wales, so south of Sydney. I've always had horses, grew up around horses, did a bit of showing, and then in high school went out to Brian Hancock's, which was sort of about 15 k's from home, and did some work experience, and that was it really. Didn't really leave.
Yeah, the bloke they call Mr. Into the Million. How good.
Yeah, it was good.
What a learning experience that must have been.
It was really good. Did learn a lot from Brian. I was there for quite a few years till I finished school, like just on the weekends, and then I went to TAFE when I finished school, and I was still there in between. And then when I finished TAFE, I was there full time, and then sort of went in a different direction, moved away for a little while, worked with a few on a gallop and stud, but yeah, always been with the horses.
All right, so when did you come to Queensland?
2011.
Right,
Yeah.
and it was to this establishment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Moved up here in 2011. I just wanted a change, wanted to get back into the harness racing horses. And yeah, just sort of made the move up here, and there's no plan on how long I was staying for, but I'm 12 years later, 3 kids and a marriage.
Yeah, exactly. So when did the proposal come, and tell me about Grant and his, I suppose, is he much of a romantic? He doesn't come across as that, but we might not know that side of him.
No, but I'm not either. I'm sort of, not fazed by just sort of day to day, that doesn't bother me, none of that. But yeah, so 2011 moved up, and then Thomas was born in 2012.
Yep. So it all happened pretty quickly from there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now you got 3 boys.
3 boys. Thomas, he'll be 12 this year. Jai, he'll be 10 this year, and Cooper will be 5.
And horses wise, I know the elder 2 are driving the pony trots and getting involved there. Are they keen?
Yeah, they are. Thomas is keen. He was a little bit more slower to start with, but now he's really keen. He's the worker. He likes to get in and he'll gear his pony up and ungear his pony and come down after school and do his pony. Jai, not so much. Jai likes him to be geared up and ungeared for him and just go drive.
Where does he get that from? What's
Well, I don't know, because Grant and I are both workers. Not Jai, he just likes to sort of get on and go and then come back, but he sits really well in the gig, and he just looks really natural the way he sits and how they go for him. It's really nice to see him. Thomas is getting there. He's a lot better now, but he loves his pony and he loves racing his pony.
How are the boys handling this ride that you're on with the horse you call Larry, Leap to Fame?
Yeah, really good. They know what's going on. They get excited when we got to go to the races and they know he's racing. But they're just they're kids. They're oblivious to some of it.
Yeah, the fact that everyone's walking around with a Leap to Fame hat on, everyone wants to talk to you. They're just there for the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What's it like as a training partnership and being married? How does that dynamic work for you guys?
Really good. We get along really well. Like, we're together all day, nearly every day, except for when Grant's at the races. And even when he's at the races, we still talk a few times while he's there. But we just get along. We just work well as a team and throw options to each other. And yeah, nothing really phases us, really.
And when it comes to race day driving, I know you enjoy it, and obviously you've had very good success as well. Who decides who drives what, and what's it like when you're driving against hubby, particularly in a group race?
I don't pick. He sits down and says, "Who do you want to drive?" And I go, "I don't care. I'll drive whoever you don't want to drive." So he just puts me on whatever. And driving against it's no different really.
You're out there
and we've got to do what we've got to do, and we want the best for each horse, so we just drive them how we've got to drive them.
The success of Leap to Fame and what he's been able to achieve thus far, it's what Grant's wanted for his whole life, and what his father obviously started off, Bill. Grant's been telling us just how big an influence he's been on this place, obviously, and on the way you guys train.
Yeah, he'd be so proud right now to have a horse, for Grant to have a horse like him. It'd be just incredible for him to see it. He was a massive influence on Grant, and a lot of the things Grant does stems back to Bill. He was just such a good horseman and such a great person in every way. To anyone and everyone, he would help anyone. So yeah, he'd be very, very proud to have Leap to Fame down here and to see him and to witness him race.
You've had some pretty cool horses. I know our Over and Over was one that you had a special place for.
Yeah, he was very special to us. We loved having him here, and he's still up there in the paddock in the backyard. But yeah, and then Majestic Mac, and we've had a lot, Colt 31, and I love Joy's a Babe, and Field of Faith was one of my favourites, even though she wasn't Superstar, and Charming Alley, and yeah, there's just a lot of them.
Grant's in a remarkable position of being only about one of 4 to go past 5,000 driving wins. Why do you think he's had the success he has, and what do you see when he goes out and drives in a race, and even pre-race, his preparation?
He's very grounded. He just takes it as it comes, and he does the hard work. Like, He's always looking at form, always looking at the races and the results and tactics, and does what's best for the horse. And yeah, so it sort of helps with the achievement that he's had. He's learnt from the best, and he sort of he goes out there and does what the horse can do. So it sort of helps with getting the results that he has gotten.
And what about yourself, driving-wise? Has he instilled some of that into your preparation, and does he talk to you when he's not in a race that you're in around what you might do or what might happen?
Yeah, so every race we sort of go over what we're doing and go through and sort of what I should do, and not so much our horses but the other horses around and the other drivers, like to keep an eye on or what he thinks. So that all helps, and just watching day to day and sort of watching everyone, you sort of learn off different people as well.
Hey, you've been having a bit of a fun with a horse called a Rhoda, and a brilliant win at Redcliffe, a terrific couple of races recently at Albion Park, including a Rising Sun third. He's getting better.
He is. We've really liked him since we've got him over. He's in a purple patch at the moment and he's racing in super form.
What do you reckon our percentage chance of getting your two horses to our greatest race, and what do you think Grant would think of winning the IRT New Zealand Cup in another country with Larry?
It'd be incredible to be there for one, but to pull it off and to win it would just be a massive achievement. Thrilling to have that on his resume, that he's New Zealand Cup winner, Grant's and Larry's.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll work towards it and hopefully we can get there.
All right. Will the kids go? Will it be a family affair?
Well, I don't know. That's what we were just talking about that the other week, because yeah, there's 3 of them to cart over there, and I said to Mum, can you come? And Mum goes, oh, depending on how long we've got to be there and getting there, when we can get there, and obviously we sort of want to be at this end to put them on the plane and one be there to take off. And then getting out of there and coming home when we can do that. So yeah, it'll just be something that's sort of, yeah, we'll decide at the end. The kids would love to be there. We would love the kids to be there, but we're just got to do what sort of works and sort of easiest for us as well.
Trista, it's a relentless lifestyle, isn't it? Does it make it worthwhile when you get a horse like Leap to Fame?
It does, but any horse, like, I just love doing it. Like, yeah, it just, whether it's Larry, you get up and you come down in the morning and it's great to have him down here and go to the races with a horse like him, especially during carnival time, so you've got one there in it amongst it. But I love working the horses, and I just love the horses altogether, really.